hey, don't put yourself in a position to where you relying on the referee's calls to begin with. With the Chiefs going for their third straight title, you got to come out and punch them guys in the face early. First quarter, let it be known, hey, we ain't trying to look for no help from the refs. We're not trying to have them get help from the ref. Top of the Top, episode 273, Stash House Podcast. Your boy Tyler checking in. First time listeners, thank y'all for tuning in. If you tune in weekly, salute, or there's just an episode, saw some topics you may want to hear about, thank you for tuning in as well. Podcast available on all streaming platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube page, like this video as well if you're watching on YouTube. Also subscribe to your preferred audio platform. Tell a friend to tell another friend, check out this show. All love is greatly, greatly appreciated. This is my first episode back in about a month. I haven't recorded since mid-December. So I do want to say I hope 2025 has been treating everyone well in the best way possible because it wasted no damn time, huh? We got California wildfires, the New Orleans tragedy, TikTok them got banned, everybody in the frenzy over that. So I just want to start with saying prayers, condolences, sending positive energy, positive vibes out to everybody. Get your money, stay low-key, stay prayed up, mind your own business. Y'all know that's my motto. But damn, I understand everybody, man. It's been a hectic few weeks of 2025, and yeah, we just got to see what this year take us. You know what I'm saying? Atlanta, different areas in the South that had snow. Where I'm at, we expect to snow this week, so everybody get ready for that. Just been crazy to start the year off. So everybody just buckle up. And like I say, man, stay prayed up, mind your business, get your money. All in all, I am glad to be back recording. I did say, though, my last episode, I would not be back until January 21st. So it's not like it's a shock or nothing, but damn, a month felt like 5 months, man, in terms of content. A lot of things I want to get to this episode for my first episode back. Of course, y'all know where I'm starting at, Ohio State Buckeyes. We find ourselves in the national championship game going up against Notre Dame. By the time this episode come out, the result, we'll know if who's the champion. And y'all know I'm betting my money on Ohio State. But normally I would have did this episode on a Monday just to change things up because I want to get my prediction and game plan out before. But last time I did that, we lost to Alabama in the national championship game. So not doing that. So by the time y'all hear this, we'll know the result. So I'm starting off with Ohio State. Then I'm going into music. Got Lil Baby album just came out, and a few more things I want to talk about in terms of music so far in 2025. And to wrap things up, I'm going into the wrestling world. We got the Royal Rumble event coming up. I want to give a quick little talk about with that because I know the card hasn't been set all the way. But mainly in wrestling, I want to talk about the whole Netflix situation. We had a few episodes now on Netflix. So I'm just giving my overall opinions and thoughts on that as well. So sit back, relax, enjoy Stash House Podcast. We're back for the new year, back in rotation. Let's get to it. So like I said, starting things off with the Buckeyes, and probably after this, I will talk a little bit about the NFL playoffs as well. But starting with the Buckeyes, man, we found our way in the national championship game. And if you were to ask me, Tyler, Thanksgiving weekend, 4 straight losses to Michigan. Y'all know what my attitude was. Ryan Day, get him out of there. Chip Kelly, get him out of there. Will Howard. And this knowing we still got the playoffs to go. Buckeye Nation, I think I speak for a lot of people. We were just out of it after the Michigan game. Whatever came with the playoffs, we will accept. And that's what we're doing. If it was a first round exit, it'd be like, all right, we expected that coming off of Michigan. The rematch against Oregon, it was like, okay, Oregon barely beat us early in the season, so we got the rematch. This is what we're going to see what we really made out of. We had the Oregon game. Oh, spirits are high. I think I speak for most Buckeye Nation. After that Oregon game, it was like, oh, wait a minute. Hold on now. Still got more games to go. The Texas game. We got humbled. I tweeted about it. I said, yo, a lot of outside noise so far in the playoffs. We've been very spoiled early in the playoffs with the 2 blowout wins. Now we had to get back in the trenches against Texas. A lot of mistakes early after the first touchdown drive. Travion Henderson cost us a lot of momentum with his penalty, but before halftime, we got the momentum back. Jack Sawyer, end of the game. Everybody in the frenzy. We very, very excited for this national championship game. And like I said to start this episode, by the time y'all hear this, either I'm going to sound very right or very wrong. But I am very confident in the Ohio State Buckeyes going up against Notre Dame. Marcus Freeman, head coach of Notre Dame, is a former Ohio State player, so we got ties to that as well. But we can't let our guard down. We cannot let our guard down. I understand a lot of people predicted Ohio State to be in this position to begin the season. But y'all know, Buckeye Nation, we watch the games totally different than everybody else. Ryan Day, we've been with him for a few years. We know how he can get in big game situations. Chip Kelly, throughout the years, we know how he can get in big game situations as well. But each game, the Texas game, Oregon game, Tennessee game, Oregon game, and Texas game, I've seen different situations where the Buckeyes and Buckeyes past will probably fold. Definitely against Texas, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, who knows what the end result would have been of that game. But it's just a certain fire I'm seeing from the Buckeyes that has me very, very confident. Jack Sawyer, who made the spectacular sack, scoop, and score against Texas, he released a statement because this is his last game. As a lot of people on the defense of Ohio State, this is their last game as a Buckeye. And he put out a statement saying basically after the Michigan game, spirits were down. They still knew they had to go to the playoffs, but he wanted to see what was everybody's temperature before the playoffs even started. So he said they had a players-only meeting, and I think they had a players-only meeting and a meeting with just Ryan Day, no other coaches. And he was like, it got tense. Some things were said. Some feelings were hurt. It was a very tense environment, he said, about this meeting. But he said everybody came to an agreement, and it was either 2 options. One, we can go out there after this loss against Michigan, treat the playoffs like the playoffs. Whatever happens, happens. We live with the result. Or we can stand up, look ourselves in the mirror, and remind ourselves who we are, the players we have, the coaches we have, the schemes we can come up with, and do what we're supposed to damn do in the playoffs. And obviously, that's the type of personality they've carried. Will Howard at quarterback, he's shutting me up. You know what I'm saying? He's shutting me up. Like I say, it's hard to look a certain way when you got 2 great running backs in Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins. You got Ibuka, you got Carnell Tate, you got the phenom Jeremiah Smith. But there's times where I want to see what you can do in a situation where we're looking at you. Either create a great opportunity for the receivers, do something as a quarterback to give the fans and the team a boost in energy. And against Texas, when he took that run for that first down, yeah, I like to see energy like that. Coming off an interception, a horrible third quarter, and in that fourth quarter, be able to drive down the field and make plays and do what he's supposed to do at quarterback. Shout out to Will Howard. Travion Henderson, like I said, in the Texas game, he cost us a lot of momentum early with the penalty, but he bounced back but right before halftime. Jeremiah Smith, I'm looking for him to have a crazy game against Notre Dame. He was on quiet against Texas. They damn near basically triple-teamed the man, which you have to do. And that's another thing I loved about the Texas game. We showed we can win without focusing on our main target, Jeremiah Smith. Compared to last year with Kyle McCord, if he couldn't connect with Marvin Harrison Jr., we was out of it. So it was great to see we can win without focusing on our main target, but I'm looking for him to have a crazy game against Notre Dame. I know the whole situation of man defense against Jeremiah Smith and this Ohio State wide receiving core, but it's up to Will Howard to make the right passes at the right time as well. Feel me? And the defense just playing stout. The defense full of veterans. We got the young Caleb Downs transfer. We got my guy, I keep forgetting his name, number 1, but the one I always say he'll take the pass interference call, which he did against Texas. I think this is his second year as a Buckeye. Number 1, he the one we'll just be like, all right, bro, if we got to get a penalty, you'll be the one to get it for us. What's my guy, Denzel Burt? He got to get it together. He got to get together on defense, man. I believe they'll probably target him a little bit. Our linebackers got to look out for Notre Dame's running backs. They're getting them into the scheme as well. I'm sure Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame know how big this game is for them as well. You know what I'm saying? Notre Dame, we know how they get in the playoffs, but this year they made it to the championship. You can say, well, they had this type of journey to get there. These are the teams they played. You compare, Notre Dame's past against Ohio State past, and you probably say, well, Ohio State probably had the tougher road to the championship. Hey, it don't matter. Notre Dame got the, I don't care about field goal win or blowout win. They made it. So you got to give props and kudos to them. And like I said before, Ohio State, we can't sleep. And I'm confident in saying this is Ryan Day's most important game, coaching the Ohio State Buckeyes. Energy is high. Expectations are very high. A lot of Buckeye Nation is a little bit too comfortable for my liking, but I understand it. But the job ain't finished yet. The job is not finished. Monday night in Atlanta against Notre Dame, yeah, I need to see that type of energy that I've been seeing in these videos in the locker room and pregame. I need to see that energy in the national championship game. Get the monkey off your back, man. That's what it all comes down to. So, like I said before, I'm going to keep reiterating this. By the time y'all hear this, either Tyler's going to be right or wrong. One thing you can guarantee, though, next week, I'll be here to talk about it, win or lose. I'm mad at TikTok, man, because that's why I used to get my post-game talks off and everything. So, yeah, but y'all know it ain't going to be hard to find, win or lose. Now let's talk a little bit about the NFL playoffs. I am recording a little bit before the Sunday game kickoffs. So let's talk about Saturday a little bit, and I'll give my predictions for Sunday. The Chiefs defeated the Houston Texans. Man, first off, I got to say, you got to beat the Chiefs. I understand all this about favoritism by the refs and all that. Hey, don't put yourself in a position to where you rely on the referees' calls to begin with. With the Chiefs going for their third straight title, you got to come out and punch them guys in the face early. First quarter, let it be known, hey, we ain't trying to look for no help from the refs. We're not trying to have them get help from the ref. Let's at least get a 10, 14-point lead in the first quarter and just keep working from there. You can't play the Chiefs not trying to lose. You got to play them to win. You feel me? C.J. Stroud, I hated to see that. As a Buckeye fan, y'all know I hated to see that. He got sacked 8 times. The last sack, he limping off the field. And granted, the Texans, of course, they haven't looked great all season. Stephon Diggs got hurt early. Tank Dell got hurt. And they just wasn't the Texans we remember from last season. Of course, you're going to have that, not even calling a sophomore slump because he still made it to the playoffs and won the first-round games, C.J. Stroud. But we've seen holes in the Texans this year, but I didn't expect an 8-sack game from the Chiefs, being how the Chiefs were, quote-unquote, just hanging on all season. I mean, they lost, one game, and people was panicking because they was undefeated for a period, but they wasn't looking great. I'm like, okay, they wasn't looking great, but they keep on coming out week after week winning. That says something. It says something either the Chiefs doing or the other team cannot do against the Chiefs. And yesterday, that defense, hey, if that defense looking like that, you got Pacheco, you got Travis Kelce, who went back in the time machine for a little bit. Patrick Mahomes can never – that's the main ingredient in the conversation. Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid. Hey, I said at the beginning of the season, you got to beat the Chiefs. They going for their third straight, fourth in 4 or 5 years, something like that. You got to beat these guys. They ain't going to beat themselves, especially not in the playoff game. At home, forget about it. Forget about it. And staying with the AFC, now here we are Sunday. Of course, like I said, I'm recording before the game. The Baltimore Ravens, led by MVP candidate Lamar Jackson, going up against the Buffalo Bills, also led by MVP candidate Josh Allen. Outside of the Bengals, who I was like, okay, y'all got to see how the Bengals playing this season. I don't think they're a threat to the Chiefs. But, of course, we would never know because the Bengals didn't make it to the playoffs. But the other two favorites were the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens. They got to beat each other up first. Then whoever wins that will see the Chiefs next week. It's a must-win for both teams, both quarterbacks. One of y'all got to get to the championship. Y'all both MVP candidates, but only one of y'all can make it to the next round. And y'all both have to beat the Chiefs to get them out of the Super Bowl picture, but only one of y'all can get there at the same time. You can't ask for a better storyline. Really, you would want this game to be the AFC championship game. But it ain't the case. The Chiefs made number 1 seed. Lamar Jackson, you got Derrick Henry. All else fails, you got Derrick Henry. If Lamar Jackson looked out of whack the first couple plays, couple drives, you got Derrick Henry. Your defense got to hold up. Josh Allen, I said preseason, he has to be an MVP candidate this season. It was a lot of, is he overrated talks and woo-doo-woo. I never rated him in a certain class than where I always talked about him. I never said, oh, he got to that level. Woo-doo-woo. He got to the. He was always Josh Allen, get you to the playoffs, but he's going to hit that bump in the road. That's probably Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. So if I had to take not a guess, but if I had to state who I would want to see more advance, that's tough. Because you can say Lamar is probably favored over Josh Allen to win the MVP, and that would be Lamar Jackson, third MVP. You have 3 MVPs, I think you got to make it to the Super Bowl. That's just my opinion. If you're going to give Lamar Jackson 3 MVPs, he got to make it to the Super Bowl this year. So that's big. Then you got Josh Allen, who could not win the Super Bowl because it is a regular season award. It's like, that's why I always say, dang, just give them the award before the playoffs start because these two guys have a crazy quarterback battle. That would be dope. But Josh Allen, you might lose the MVP, but you can still get to the AFC Championship and take down your foe in the Kansas City Chiefs. You know what? I spoke so down. I ain't going to say I spoke down on Josh Allen, but like I said, the whole overrated conversation. I think in terms of my biggest preseason stories, I think I got to have Josh Allen advance. Just for conversation, just because the preseason, I said, yo, Josh Allen, I don't put him in the same conversation as Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson got 2 MVPs. Now, granted, in the postseason, neither one of them had done anything on the level of Patrick Mahomes. But got 2, about to get 3 probably. But Josh Allen, that's just probably a better story. You might lose the MVP, but you can knock the MVP out of the playoffs and get to your main foe and play them. Ooh. So I'm going to say I want Josh Allen to get it. But it's a lot of pressure on Lamar, though. It's a lot of pressure. But it's a great story. Like I say, this should be the AFC Championship game, but we'll see how that goes. But the Chiefs have advanced at the time I'm recording. And on the NFC side of things, the Washington Commanders, they defeated the Detroit Lions and what some would call an upset. It's an upset. It was an upset. It was a shootout, great game. I did fight sleep like that last quarter, but I made it just in time to see, you know what I'm saying, the ending and everything. Detroit, I think that was probably the feel-good story of the season. A lot of people would like to see them to get to their first Super Bowl, the season they've had, overcoming their injuries. But, man, Jared Goff just looked like he wasn't a vet. He looked out of whack, in my opinion. But Jaden Daniels, that Washington quarterback, bruh, tough, man. Bruh, tough. Got Scary Terry from Ohio State as well to throw it to. Washington does look dangerous. Washington looks dangerous to go on the road and do that as well with a rookie quarterback against a team that was early favorite for the NFC and they making ways to get to the NFC Championship, and you come in their house and do that in that type of game, the way your defense played against Detroit, Washington looks dangerous. Got to give it up to Washington. Detroit, hold your head. I know this was the season y'all thought, oh, we're going to get there. You got to take it one game at a time, man. You got to take it one game at a time. And for Sunday, we got the Rams going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. Saquon Barkley, he finally, after all these years of being just held captive by the New York Giants, with the Philadelphia Eagles could have broke the running back record, all that, but he's focused on the bigger goal. He's focused on that championship. Jalen Hurts focused on that championship. A.J. Brown, Smith, that whole squad. They always look – I think they like to play mind games with the media. That's one thing about the Eagles I do enjoy. Now, last season, I did think it was a little friction. Like, they had to get it together last season. But this season, adding Saquon Barkley in the mix, they look focused. I know the whole thing with A.J. Brown reading the book. Hey, man, I understand that's the wide receiver ego and all that, but I'm sure A.J. Brown is like, if I got to be a decoy in order for our team to win and advance in the playoffs, I'm cool with that. I'm just saying I think I should get the ball a little bit more as well, though. Nothing wrong with that, but it is the playoffs, and you got a team in the Los Angeles Rams with Stafford. Oh, he going to spread the ball around the Cooper Kupp, Nakua, all that. He going to spread the ball around. So we got to see how these defenses play out. That's what I'm looking forward to the most, how the Eagles defense is going to play and how the Rams defense is going to play, because both offenses are loaded. So I'm looking forward to that game. So if we got the Washington Commanders already there, who I would like to see the Commanders go up against, we got Jaden Daniels, Scary Terry. Ooh. I think the Eagles going to beat the Rams. So I think we're going to get an NFC East, NFC Championship matchup. Philadelphia going up against Washington. That'd be crazy. But I think I got the Eagles. I think I got the Eagles beating the Rams. But like I said before, by the time y'all hear this, either I'm going to be right or wrong. So my predictions for the AFC Championship, I got the Chiefs going up against the Bills. And for the NFC, I got the Commanders going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. Now let's talk about some music. So far this year, of course, it's January. Some things I saw to look forward to. I saw videos of 2 Chainz, Larry June, and Alchemist in the studio. So I'm curious to see what they got coming. I'm not sure if it's a collab with all of them. Another Larry June Alchemist project and 2 Chainz just featured. We'll see where that goes. Bodie James, he got another album coming out. I want to say the 21st. I want to say the day this dropped on audio, the Bodie James album. I think he dropped on a Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. From what I've heard on his Instagram, it's definitely more Detroit-based, even though Bodie is from Detroit, but the projects that everybody loved, you probably wouldn't say he had the Detroit flow on them compared to other features that he's had. But this project, he seemed to be focused more on the Detroit flow and sound, so we'll see how that sounds. I'm looking forward to that. The Dipset stuff with Cameron and Jim Jones, yet again, like, it's not the first time this has happened. I think this time is a little bit more quieter than years before when Cam went on Instagram Live and all. I think that one was more explosive than what's going on now. But we'll see where it goes, man. We'll see where it goes. I know a lot of people from New York have been tweeting and doing videos crazy about this. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm sure a group you grew up off. Of course, us down south, we knew of Dipset back then with Old Boy and all that, but they probably know a little bit more information up top than we do down here. But it's not the first time we've seen this play out on the internet, I'll say. So, yeah, prayers to the Dipset, man. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. Shout out to the Dipset. And in terms of music, strictly music, not no court, suing and all this crazy stuff that Drake doing, man. It's like, golly, bro. It's like, golly, you trying not to have Kendrick perform that song at the Super Bowl. Because that's all it is at this point, I feel like. I feel like this is just strictly so bro don't get on stage dancing at that Super Bowl to Not Like Us. Man, the people remember, dog. The people remember. Like, just move on. But in terms of strictly music, we did have Lil Baby drop his album WHAM. 15 records at the time, but he did drop a project, the Deluxe. That's never going away, y'all. Sorry to tell you. The Deluxe, so it's about 19 songs all together, but nonetheless, features, we got the return of Young Thug, We got Future, Glorilla, Rod Wave, Rallo Rodriguez, Travis Scott, and 21 Savage. Now, my initial thoughts on this project, two that stuck out off the rip. One, damn, baby, you dropping a little bit too early. I think he dropped like the 3rd of January. No. With the type of conversations that was going on about Lil Baby, I was like, bro, this is very bold of you to drop a project the 3rd day into the new year. Because a lot of artists, I think 21 Savage last year, he dropped early. And I heard it, I listened to it probably up to like March, and I never probably went back to it. Now, granted, Lil Baby said he got another album coming out later this year. We'll see, but I think it was very bold of him to drop a project at the new year. Like, we're not even in that vibe to really be listening to music from somebody who I declare as an outside artist. In terms of when it get a little bit warmer outside, you start moving around, you got your white tee on, your gym shorts, you just need some music to get you to point A to point B. You got the people going out for the summer, springtime. I think that's when Lil Baby should have dropped the album. Not saying with these particular songs on it, but I think that would be a great, okay, this the tone setter for the spring, summer. Lil Baby, a lot of conversation going on about him and his career. Let's see what you got. But the 3rd of January, it's like, damn, dog, I ain't even trying to hear no new music right now, no new albums right now. But he dropped. And another thing that caught my eye was the features. I was like, I'm tired of the package. Anytime I see Thug and Future and Glorilla and 21 Savage feature, I'm like, okay, this the go-tos. And I said it last year. I think Glorilla should be a little bit more exclusive. Thug, Future, 21, these the artists I feel like should be like, hey, like, I understand, like, I rock with you, but not right now, dog. Like, we'll link up another time during the year or something like that. But I think a lot of people should have told Baby, hey, this need to be a clear out. If it ain't V's, 42 Dub, or Rallo Rodriguez, you don't need no features. You need to clear out for this album right here, because there's been a lot of conversations about your career, dog, and they waiting on you. You doing the press runs. You went to Lil Yachty to talk, Charlamagne to talk. Hey, man, clear out. Do about 10, 12, just you, and we'll go from there. Now, of course, we did not get this on this album. I'm surprised, because when I first heard it, first couple times I heard it, I said, okay, I like it better than the last album. It's Only Me, I believe that's what it's called. I like it way better than that. I think that was, like I say, that was a drop-off from my turn. But even then, when people's like, yo, the Lil Baby fall off, I'm like, bruh, I understand. The music is sounding the same. I get it. He does need to pivot a little bit, yes. But it was only one album that I personally wasn't feeling, and that was the It's Only Me. So it'll take more than just one album for me to be like, nah, he gone. Woo-de-woo. So what he did with this album, the production was better, but the content is still the content. That's the thing. If you want me to be honest, completely honest with you, unless you was very interested in hearing this album, that's why the only thing they're talking about is the Young Thug verse. That says a lot. That says a lot about the public opinion about Baby right now. They're not saying, yo, it's more music on here than just that one song, woot-de-woot. But that's what everybody talking about. You got to, like, really listen to this album to just come up with your own opinion about it. Because the only people talking about outside of that is the Thug verse, which wasn't that crazy. I think that song is a little bit too hyped. There's some songs on this project I like way more than that song with Future and Thug on it personally. But for the people that did listen to this album, the most conversation I'm hearing is like, it's not bad, but it ain't where he need to be like, okay, y'all, all that fall off talk, it was just an error, and we over that. It ain't that. It's still some questions I can be like, okay, I can see why people probably won't feel this album all the way. It's good songs on here, but it's just like, it ain't nothing out of the ordinary. And that's what we need to come up with now. We need to just realize this is what Baby go do. Don't expect nothing more. He said the next album, Dominique's supposed to be a little bit more personal. Woot-de-woot. Hey, man, I believe it when I see it. You could have did that on this album. Anytime you tell me I got 2 albums coming out in 1 year, I know for a fact it's going to be a situation where I'm like, okay, you probably could have just took the best songs from this album and the best songs from this album and just made one great album instead of two decent albums. That's all you're seeing. 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. But like I said, it is songs on here I love. I do like the Fuck You Twice song. I know it's funny. It was a TikTok gimmick, but I do like that song. By Myself, I really enjoy. Due for a Win, probably my early favorite. Stiff Gang, So Sorry, Stuff, Outfit, and Streets Colder. There are songs on this project I do enjoy. But overall, like I say, for me to be like, okay, baby, he at that point to where he heard the talks and he's like, all right, I got to prove myself. It's not that. It's not. I didn't get that vibe from it. And who knows? He might just be comfortable. I say for Baby, if he can find that good ground to where he's still relevant and making music his fan base alike, he'll be all right. The only difference is it's going to look a lot different going from sold-out arenas to smaller venues. Not saying it's going to be basement or nothing like that. You can do Tabernacle. Nothing wrong with that. It's not State Farm. But you can still have a good fan base because I know people went to the birthday concert he always have in Atlanta. And outside of his music, it's the people that come to the show, the people he bring out. And the videos I saw, I was like, they ain't really my taste in the terms of the artists he brought out. It's like all around. Like, it would have been cool to see them, but it's like, compared to My Turn era concert, it looked a little bit different. But we'll see where it goes. The content going to be the content when it comes to Baby, though. I wouldn't expect nothing different. I just want to hear some better production and maybe some different flows as well. A lot of these newer artists, they get trapped in that flow conversation. They flow the same. They don't switch it up. But this album overall, it was cool. Like, the more I listen to it, the more I'm like, it ain't bad. It ain't like it's only me. I know that for a fact. It's not bad, but it's like we expected more, but at this point, I don't think we're getting no more than what we got on this WHAM album. We'll see. He say he's dropping Dominique later this year. We'll see how that goes. So once again, Lil Baby album WHAM. Listen to it. Check it out. Give me your thoughts and opinions about it. Now, to wrap things up, we're going to talk about the wrestling world. First, beginning with WWE Raw on Netflix. It started on Netflix early this month. Overall, the show is what I expected. I expected the spotlight, the glamour, the glitz. It's Netflix. You went into it, Dome, in L.A. I figured it was going to be all that, but at the same time, as a wrestling fan, I would like to see more wrestling. Then they had like 4 matches in 3 hours. You had The Rock come out to start and talk. Cena come out, talk. The Undertaker came out randomly doing Rhea Ripley. Hulk Hogan got booed, which was probably the best moment of the night easily for me to see Hulk Hogan get booed like that. But that's the one thing with this new era of WWE that I be like, damn, they so welcoming into outsiders. I understand it's wrestling. You want to build. You want to go global. I understand that. So I understand why they do it. But as a wrestling nerd like myself, I'm like, fam, if they don't know about this shit now, you don't need to goddamn try to reel them in. We don't need The Rock coming out first and have the champion Cody Rhodes in the crowd when we know the situation they've had in the past year or so. And now it's like, okay, I guess none of that matters no more. Like, he shouted Cody Rhodes out. They shaking hands and they drinking beer together backstage. I'm like, okay, so is The Rock not in this storyline no more? Okay, cool. John Cena come out. Okay, this is last year. I understand it. He's retiring. But you could have saved this shit for another time. Or he could have just came out, yo, I'm in the Royal Rumble, whoop the whoop. Okay, salute. We'll get to that when the Royal Rumble comes. Okay, get it. So I want to see more wrestling. You showing the wrestlers upstairs and the VIP. I'm like, they should be on the card. This is your time to showcase the superstars of today. We don't need The Rock and Cena and Hulk Hogan and Undertaker coming out. Man, get to these matches, man. Highlight the people we have now. Yes, we know people grew up watching these folks. Triple H starting to show off. Yes, we understand that. Get y'all asses out the way and bring on the current people. Like, that's my whole thing about the first episode on Raw. Of course, it's a different tone now since they got everything situated. Still, though, I think for some reason, a lot of people thought Netflix gonna mean just straight up cussing, Attitude Era ×3. I wasn't expecting all that. Like, what we seeing now is pretty much what I expected. But at the same time, I did state that from that first episode on Netflix, January 6th, I believe, until WrestleMania, they need to go crazy with the storylines and the writings, because I've been just cruising along in terms of storylines since probably, was it Bad Blood? They had the Hell in the Cell. I think that was like the last few times throughout these storylines I really been like locked in on the product. Like, outside of that, like, I keep up with it. I seen Tiffany Stratton cash in, Penta, Chad Gable, the New Day, how they finally pulled the plug on the New Day with the friction. Now they just going straight heel. What else been catching my attention? I don't know what they're doing with Judgment Day, Damian Priest. I know Rhea Ripley, she won the title back from Liv. I'm not sure what's up with the men tag team division. Every time I look up, I see Motor City Machine Guns. I see Pretty Deadly, Street Profits. I don't know what they're doing on that side. So it's just a lot of things. Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, they got something at Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble is stacked this year. That's the thing everybody waiting on, I think, is the Royal Rumble match, the men's side. Because the women, I'm sure Charlotte Flair is going to come back. Asuka probably come back. We'll see. They got the TNA deal now with NXT, so I'm sure some NXT and TNA people will be involved in the men and women's Royal Rumble match. But the men's Rumble match, it can go a lot of ways. It really can. You got Roman Reigns who's in it. You got CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, John Cena. I'm sure the Uso brothers. The Bloodline's probably going to be in it as well. So it's going to be stacked. I'm looking forward to the Royal Rumble match this year. Like I said before, John Cena, this is his last year. I'm looking to see how I'm sure he's got a lot of say-so in how he's going to get booked in this last year. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Overall, though, that first Netflix show, it was like, okay, we need to calm down a little bit. Let's get back to the wrestling, get back to these stories. Because you got to make a run. This run got to be real. You got Royal Rumble coming up. You got, I think, Elimination Chamber coming up. And, of course, you got WrestleMania. It got to make sense. You got to understand a lot of money coming in, a lot of exposure, a lot of ads. Excuse me. That was kind of weird seeing all those. I think they still got it. The advertisements on the ring mat, that is kind of weird for me, person who grew up watching the Monday Night Wars and everything. It's like, damn, I remember on TV, like Madison Square Garden was the big thing. Like, if they had Madison Square Garden, that's the big thing. And now it's like they do that for house shows compared to what they do on televised shows. So it's just a lot of things moving, a lot of things going on, storylines and possible returns. My guy Penta came over from AEW. He had a match with Chad Gable. That was a great match. Well, only thing I'm really concerned about is how they're going to do with Chad Gable. It's just kind of weird because they'll have wrestlers on a certain path, and then once that over with, one of the wrestlers just go back to helping bring up and coming guys or give other people a look. And I think Chad Gable is just way too great of a character. Definitely too great in ring to be that guy at this point of his career. It's like, dang, man, like you got the Creed brothers behind him, and I'm like, come on, man, like we can do this, guys. Like, I understand Braun Breaker, I understand it, but come on, man, you gotta give my guy Chad Gable a good look. But the match with Penta was good. We'll see where they go with Penta, of course, and I'm sure eventually in the future, I don't know what his situation is at AEW, but his brother Ray Phoenix as well, but we'll see how that goes. Overall, I have been tuned in. AEW, I can't tell you. I just don't find myself watching AEW really no more. Not even on no Wednesday night. Oh, this basketball game on. I can flip between that and AEW. Collision, I definitely don't be tuned into. I see what's going on social media with AEW, like strictly on Instagram. That's the best I can give you. But all in all, I'm looking forward to the Royal Rumble, definitely. But yeah, man, this has been episode 273 Stash House Podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in. After a month break, we are back in rotation, so get used to seeing Stash House Podcast. Hope everyone have a great week, great weekend. Y'all stay safe, stay bundled up, especially if you're in my part of town. We expecting some snow this week, so make sure y'all go out, get what y'all need to get from the grocery stores and all that good stuff. Stay warm, do all that. Keep me in your prayers. I'll do the same for y'all, man. Salute.